Alright, what is up everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here coming in with a video on the Clone Commandos. It's been a very long time since I've done anything on the Clone Commandos, and I think it's been before 2.6, so I kind of want to go over them. And I don't think I've used Clone Commandos since I went to Crucible last year, when I did a 501st list with two of them. And I absolutely loved it. I think they're still really good. It's just a matter of what kind of list you want to put them in and how you want to use them. So I'm going to go over a few different list ideas as well as a few different, maybe like at least a 501st list and then a few other lists that can use them. But I wanted to at least give you guys the unit overview and still kind of like my thoughts on them and how awesome they are. So, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the regular Clone Commandos, and then I'll go over Delta Squad. So the regular Clone Commandos have a complete the mission keyword, which just means that you're going to put a token out on the field. This is the only token that can technically be placed on a POI. And so you'll place it on the POI, and it'll at range 1 of it, if there is an enemy unit at range 1 of it, you're going to gain critical 2. And if you are at range 1 of it, you're going to gain surge to defend. So it doesn't mean your unit leader, if one of the minis in the unit is on that complete the mission token, or at range 1 of the complete the mission token, you gain that surge to defend, which is really nice. Just hope that you don't lose that guy that is at range 1. You'll have to take another mini, or if you lose all of them, then you better hope that your unit leader is on there. But in case you weren't able to make it, you could cohere to that range 1 and gain it. And then if an enemy unit is at range 1, your entire dice pool will gain critical 2 whether you're in melee. So like if you're home, like if you had multiple ones, complete the mission tokens, and you were at the one closest to you, and an opponent rushes you, and now you had to go here into melee at range 1 of it, you're going to gain that surge to block, which is super nice. And then when you attack, you get critical 2 with your attack dice. So complete the mission is really awesome. The other side is that if your opponent has Clone Commandos, your complete the mission tokens also work for their Clone Commandos. So it's okay, it's cool. Just understand that. All right, and then the Katarn pattern armor, which is always going to be equipped. So basically, when this unit would suffer 1 or more wounds from a non-melee attack, you can get rid of this card. Basically, you can use this card, and if you do, expend it, I guess I should say. If you do, this unit's going to just suffer 1 wound instead. So you get to choose to use this or not when you suffer a wound or so. And you can basically get, instead of taking 2 or 3 wounds, you can just choose to take 1. And it's nice because you get to roll first before you decide you're going to use it. So if you're like, ooh, I just rolled 4 out of 5 blanks on red dice, I'm definitely going to use Katarn pattern armor. So yeah, it's nice to go ahead and use that kind of first. But just know that when they charge you into melee, you're not going to be able to use it. So you don't want to use it too fast, but at the same time, you kind of want to use it when you can. You do have a shield when you put this Clone Commando unit out, and it also has recharge 1, so whenever you recover, you can get that back, but you have to recover to get it back. And they will also have infiltrate, so in the beginning of turn 1, when you are deploying your units, you can choose to just place them anywhere in your deployment zone, and then you can shoot and scoot, or you can aim and shoot, or you can shoot and recover, just in case, to get your gun back, and I'll go over that config in a minute. But it kind of just depends. The Delta Squad has an easier time with all of this because we'll go over them in a minute, and I'll explain why. But yeah, you kind of want to play them carefully, and they can do quite a bit of damage, but it's just a matter of how you decide to play them. You don't want them to get into melee at all, but they're not bad in melee. And then they also have target 1, so whenever they get an order, they're going to get an aim. So that's really, really nice. They all have 1 health each, and there's only 4 minis in the unit. So again, you're gonna have to be careful on how you play them, because when you lose them, it's not great. So you kind of want to have medics who can stand by the commandos and kind of support them with the medics. And or Obi-Wan Kenobi will be really good with them because he'll be able to guardian them, and or if you have force barrier them, so they stay alive a lot longer, and then they can do a little bit more at long range, especially since Kenobi's going to be kind of slow moving up the board anyway. And maybe they're going to be kind of slow moving up the board because you're either going to be shoot and then move forward, and you're not going to be recovered, and then you're going to have to, on the next turn, probably recover and then shoot, and then you're standing still, which is a good reason why they infiltrate, to kind of gain some ground with them in the beginning. You can also, you don't have to recover. You could just keep going. They're going to throw a white and a black at range 2, and it's suppressive, so that's really nice. It's really, really good, especially if you have more than one. Like if you have 2 commandos in there, that can panic, a Courage 2 unit, or a regular core unit that has a Courage 2 commander. So yeah, it's such a good attack dice. And again, if you've placed your complete the mission tokens in a really good spot and you gain critical 2, especially if you're moving up the board, it's not necessary to recover, but you can. And then again, they're throwing 2 black dice in melee, critical 2 if you're in range 1 of that token. So their damage output can be good. That's 8 dice that you're rolling each time, if they're all alive. And again, getting a shield is really, really good. But the shield, any gun that has ion, you're going to have to flip that shield before you can even use it. So that's where Katarn pattern armor really comes in to play, and it can be really useful. And so you just got to be careful with that. Now, their config. They have 2 sides, and at the start of this unit's activation, you can flip this card. Okay, so you can choose to have whichever side you want when you want at the beginning of this unit's activation. So if you're like, all right, there's an armored vehicle really close to me, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, recover, or if you haven't used it, go ahead, just flip it over on the other side to the anti-armor configuration, and then shoot, and then you have to exhaust it. So this one is, impact 1 and scatter. In case it's not armor, you can at least still scatter them, which is really good for, like Anakin if you're in 501st. That way you don't have to have push necessarily on Anakin, because then if these guys are a little bit ahead of him, you can, recover, shoot, and if you got an order, you have an aim. If not, they can still token share. And then you've now been able to take one of the minis in that unit and cohere it farther forward by 3 inches, and then now Anakin is 3 inches closer to that unit and can just move probably into melee and then swing instead of having to use force push, and then use force push for something else. Or at least if you don't have force push equipped, is an easier way of kind of getting a unit cohered closer to Anakin so that he can just go ahead and either saber throw or walk into melee. And then it's impact 1 per mini. So if all 4 of them are using it, it's impact 4. You're still rolling 8 black dice, which is really good if you got all of them. But chances are you're probably going to have like 2 or 3. So it's impact 2 or 3. But yeah, it's impact 1 per mini, basically. So that's really, really good. Now, the other one is the sniper configuration. So while 1 or more of these weapons in an attack pool, if 1 or more of these weapons is in an attack pool, the attack pool is going to gain lethal 1. And it's high velocity. So you have 4 red dice coming in at high velocity, so no dodges can be spent, and it turns off deflect. And then you can spend an aim instead of re-rolling to make it pierce against whoever. Now, obviously not against immune to pierce units, but that pierce is very valuable. Now, everyone's going to have light or heavy cover because you don't have sharpshooter on the clone commandos. The best thing around this is to have a spotter uplink on Barks. if you're only bringing one clone commando, or if you're just bringing Delta Squad and 2 barks. Having, spotter uplink on the barks where the clone commandos or Delta can get a sharpshooter shot off, that would be amazing. And then spinning that aim for lethal is super good. But that just, that's if you want something else that has spotter uplink available. Yeah. Obviously, if you're bringing... so, clone commandos are a support unit. So, obviously, if you're going to bring barks, you're going to only have 1 commando or 2 and have 1 bark. But chances are you're probably going to want 2 barks and a Delta Squad if you're going to try to rely on spotter uplink. Okay? And then, obviously, the clone commandos have a training slot, a comm slot, and a grenade slot on the normal commandos. And then, so if we're going to look at the clone commandos and you are trying to bring something, offensive push could be good because you're probably going to be recovering so that you can get your config back. So offensive push would be nice for the next turn. Mission objective could be good so that you save your aim and you use that for lethal on the sniper config, and then you use mission objective to re-roll a dice. And then, oh wow, now my red dice went from a blank or a surge to a hit or a crit. Now I'm going to spin the aim for lethal. So mission objective is good. And maybe up close and personal if you have extra points. But if you're going to have extra points, you're also probably going to bring HQ uplink on them, because HQ uplink is probably the best one that you can bring, because if you notice they have target 1, and if you give them an order, they're going to gain an aim, so there's no point in bringing offensive push if you're going to bring up HQ uplink. Now, the only reason I mentioned offensive push is because it's 6 points versus 10 points for, HQ uplinks, but... and if you don't have 6 or 10 points and you only have 4, well, emergency transponders is probably the best that you can do, because if you're not going to give them an order, at least you can give them an aim still through that. Okay, so those are the top 3 in general that you're probably going to see on clone commandos and that I would recommend. Now, the grenade that you could use, smoke grenades are okay, because that's at least going to give them cover, especially if they infiltrate and there's not much cover around them. You could, pop off a smoke grenade, and then that could be really, really nice. They've already got suppressive, so concussive grenades aren't, sonic imploders aren't necessary. Concussion grenades could be great as well, because then having blast and then a suppressive gun could be really good. Yeah, you lose out on a white dice, but you're going to gain blast, so everything else will hit if possible, especially if you're not around to complete the mission token offensively. Anything that goes through, even if it's 1, at least it's going to be 1 that doesn't have to be against cover. And if you're going to be shooting at range 1 to 2, and you're probably going to get close enough to use this grenade, then concussion grenade is probably the better one. Frag grenades, sure, but again, you've got complete the mission tokens that'll give you critical 2 at least, so that you don't necessarily have to have frag grenades. Okay, let's take a look at Clone Commandos Delta Squad. So they've got basically everything that Clone Commandos have. The only difference is target 2. So if they get an order, they're going to gain 2 aim tokens, and they have independent recover. So if you don't give them an order, they get a free recover action. So the config comes back to ready. So if you use the sniper config and then you moved, and then the next turn you don't give them an order, well, their sniper config is automatically back, and if they use their shield is automatically recharged. So that is absolutely critical for action economy, as you hear a lot of people talking about as well, because now you don't have to spend one of your 2 actions to recover to get the config back. You're just going to get it back. So it's so good. Again, you got to be very careful with them, though, still. The other amazing thing about Delta Squad that's different than the Clone Commandos are the 2 black dice for the ranged 1 to 2 instead of a black and a white. So they're a little bit deadlier at range 1 to 2 than a normal Clone Commando squad. And they've got, I actually see, no courage. So they will never take suppression, so they can never be panicked, they can never be suppressed. They are just absolutely amazing. So they are an amazing point holder. for the mere fact that they're going to have guitar and armor, a shield. They're never going to be suppressed or panicked, so you don't have to worry about it. They're going to be great at surface scan. They're going to be great at probably not recon. Okay, yeah, maybe recon, but surface scan where, they just have to be outside the deployment zone because they're never going to drop the token, which is really, really good. If you gave them an intercept token, sure, again, as long as you've got medics nearby, they should be okay, because again, they're only 1 health each for Delta Squad. If I wish they were about 5 points cheaper at least for what they do. Being 100 would make a big difference rather than 105, because then if you were to put offensive push, now it just about brings them to their normal price now, and then they get a free aim. Now, they've got 2 training slots instead of 1. But they still have a regular comms and grenade slot. Now, the fact that they have 2 is super good, and then independent recover is even better. The 2 training slots that you should use these for, the 2 upgrades I should say that you should use in these slots, is mission objective and offensive push. I feel like these are the only 2 upgrades that you should ever bring on Clone Commandos. Mission objective is exhaustible. Okay, and basically what you're going to do is when this unit attacks an enemy unit that is holding like a scanner, like recon or surface scan or an intercept token, or they're contesting 1 or more objective tokens like any POI, during the reroll attack dice step, you can just expend this card. If you do, you can just go ahead and reroll an attack dice. And then at the start of this unit's activation, you can ready this card. So you don't have to have the independent recover in order to do it. And mission objective, I should say, is also going to be really good for Clone Commandos, because again, you don't have to take a recover action to ready this card, and this still allows you to re-roll 1 of the red dice for the sniper config without having to spend the aim, so that you can spend the aim for Pierce. But yeah, mission objective is probably what I would definitely do, as well as offensive push, because the free recover action is going to bring back offensive push, and that way, if you're moving, you gain the tactical 1, and then you can shoot, and then next turn, you don't get an order, you recover, you get the aim back. If you do give them an order, well, okay, now they have target 2 and they have 2 aims. So there's never a downside to have offensive push on Delta Squad except for points. That's the only downside. I usually, what I would do is, if I had the chance, I would put emergency transponders, and this would be my Clone Commando build out. Makes it super easy. If you had the points that you truly wanted to put on there, you're going to probably make them about 100. And then Delta Squad's usually going to come out to 117, which is a lot more expensive than a Medic Arc Squad, which is only 90 points. So which one do you want? Do you want a charging unit with 10 dice and a medic, or do you want 8 dice and, a little bit even more expensive? But obviously, if you just bring them like this, naked, basically, with their config and their armor, it's 90 points as well. And you get 1 more body on ARC Troopers and Impervious, unlike Clone Commandos. But Clone Commandos have a spot, especially in support spot, because they're long range, it is high velocity, and it is suppressive with their guns, and then Qatar and armor really helps them be able to get out of a sticky situation, and their complete the mission tokens really help them out with that surge to defend. So now you don't have to spend surge tokens for defense, and then you don't technically have to spend surge tokens for offense if an enemy unit is at range 1 of your complete the mission token. Now they can still, they're probably going to still need a surge token like round 1, maybe round 2, unless you have enough Clone Commandos to put out 2 to 3 complete the mission tokens. Because if you have 2 to 3, you can kind of saturate the board a lot more with your complete the mission tokens. If you only have 1, it not only telegraphs to your opponent where you're going to be placing your Clone Commandos, and even if it's a fake, it's a terrible idea, because now you've lost out really on the surge to defend. So if you have 2 of them, you can make 1 a defense and 1 offensively. You can stick 2 of them, if you're especially close to pocket, on the middle, and then the side that you really want the most, to be able to kind of, again, give yourself that Critical 2 to anyone who's trying to come near that POI. So you kind of want 2, maybe 3 clone commando squads if you're going to bring them. And with Delta Squad, if it's your only one, you're going to be searching the bag. You could search the bag and could be on the very bottom, and you never get to them until they die. And then you never get to use them. Or if you have clone commandos and maybe 2 barks, or sorry, Delta Squad and 2 barks, well, now you've got 3 support tokens in the bag, and you have a better chance of getting them first, and they've already recovered, so you can move, get the offensive push, and then shoot, and then next turn, if you have to give them an order from anything, you can. So Delta Squad's way better than Clone Commandos. It's just, if you really want them to be super offensively dominating, then 117 points is quite a bit. You know, you can go down to 111 if you need to, but you're probably not doing anything less than this, and that makes them kind of expensive. And they're going to be targeted quite a bit, which at least the rest of your squad's going to be okay with. Sure, that's fine. But yeah, it's kind of up to you. All right, so that is the Clone Commando squads and Delta Squad. I love Delta Squad a lot. I hope I can use them more often, but they're just a little too expensive, and I hope that they get a kind of a points adjustment. That's just me soon, because we're not seeing them on the table as much as we used to see them. All right, so here are a few fun lists that I've kind of come up with that you can use or not use. It's just kind of up to you, and I'll make a few adjustments real fast if you'd like. But I have Anakin with burst of speed, push, into the fray, and tenacity. If you're not bringing push on him, you know, clairvoyance isn't bad because you want to kind of keep him alive. And then, you know, saber throw is a very popular one to also save some extra points. And yeah, and then reflexes, obviously. But I love force push. It's just me. I have Ahsoka with barrier and offensive push because she's got, again, independent recover on herself. So she could get offensive push back each time again and force barrier. And she could be kind of a support piece for the commandos or anybody else. I have a clone commander for improvised order, so I don't make Ahsoka too expensive because she's going to be a target. And this allows her to at least be 126 instead of 131. And if she dies but nothing else dies, obviously, then yeah, that's a lot of points to put on Ahsoka. So yeah, I have a clone commander for improvised orders. The other reason I have a clone commander in here is to be able to give the clone infantry squad, which is the only one in here, in order. So now it kind of clears up the bag a little bit, and your clone infantry squad, which is naked, has an order on them, and they can go when they need to go. And then you've got 3 ARC troopers in here with a clone medic. And then you've got a strike team with Echo. That way, you get an extra surge token because he's got reliable 1, because you only have 1 clone infantry squad in here. And so you've only got 1 surge for this entire army to share. So having Echo in there kind of allows you to have 2 surge tokens kind of spread out a little bit more. And then 2 naked clone commandos. It's $9.99, 10 activations with a force push Anakin. Again, if you didn't want force push, let's just say you do, not Jedi Mind Trick, you do saber throw and burst of speed, and then that leaves a lot of points to do more of what you need. So maybe you take one of those clone commandos and you make it a Delta Squad, and again, you make it have offensive push. Now you have 15 extra points you can do as you want, and maybe that leaves you an extra body for the clone infantry to do with what you need, and give you an extra body to kind of keep them alive, and then maybe some environmental gear so that way they don't have to worry about any of the terrain. ARC troopers don't have to worry about terrain because they've got scale, basically. And then if you didn't want Echo, then yeah, you could cut points to save some extra points. And instead of all of these upgrades that you have on them, you've got now 26 points that you can do with what you want. So maybe you go with another clone medic to give yourself 4 clone medics. You could give yourself a shotgun trooper and keep environmental gear. And that way, again, they can kind of rush in and close the gap a little bit easier. And now you have 10 activations with a Delta Squad with offensive push, a regular clone commando, a normal strike team, and then still 3 arcs. But you've just lost out on a surge token, and now you've lost out on push, but it's just kind of on you. Losing push hasn't really gained you an activation, It just kind of spread out a few extra points, but it does give you Delta Squad, which is really, really nice. You still have Ahsoka, you still have Anakin, and you still have Scatter on 2 different units, and if they're staying close enough to the arcs or ahead of the arcs and or ahead of Anakin, being able to heal them and then use the scatter gun for Anakin to be closer to something is really, really nice. At least, saber throws can be really good. Here's one with Yoda and Chewie. Yoda's going to have Burst, Force Push, and Guidance so that he can hand out some more Surge tokens. Obviously, Guidance can be changed to Jedi Mind Trick if you want it as well, or Force Reflexes, because they're all the same points. And he's got Improvised. You've got a Naked Chewie. You've got a Clone Trooper Infantry with Ahsoka, the Shotgun Trooper, and Into the Fray, so that way you can kind of get an extra Surge token. You're throwing a double rainbow on top of 4 extra black dice. Pierce 2, Critical 1, yep. Impact 2, so you don't necessarily have to worry too much about losing out on some impact. You've got 2 regular clone trooper infantry squads that are naked, 2 clone arc troopers with the medics, and then you have a Delta squad and 2 other clone commandos. So now you've got 3 clone commando squads that are going to be infiltrating and having a lot of high velocity sniper shots to begin with, where ARC troopers kind of scout in and do what they need to, and then the ARC troopers can stay close to the clone commandos, and the clone commandos can shoot and scoot, get a little closer, and then maybe they've taken a shot or two, they spin a shield and or their clone Katarn armor, and then the ARC troopers scout in from the side and try to go ham, especially if you're playing like Close the Pocket or something. And then your Clone Trooper Infantry, which will have, Ahsoka and the TB-23 can just kind of charge in. And then Yoda and Chewie can go do their own thing if they had to. Yoda can also guidance a free recover action. He can guidance, a move action. So if the Clone Commandos had to recover and shoot and stay still, Yoda can guidance them and then move. And then the next turn, Chewie can pick up Yoda and do what they need to go do, and then your clone commandos are still holding it back / kind of charging in a little bit. So there's lots of stuff that you've got here with 10 activations. That could just be fun. I don't know how competitive, but it would be a lot of fun having, lots of clone commando squads on the table. And Yoda is always going to be a master of everything he does. Now this one, this has a few fun ideas. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi with Barrier, Hope, Trusted Agent, and Offensive-Defensive Stance. The defensive stance is to make sure that he gets those dodges, and Barrier is to be able to Guardian the Bad Batch, and or using Guardian to Guardian the Bad Batch. You've got a Clone Commando squad with Emergency Transponders, and then you've got Delta Squad with Mission Objective and Offensive Push. So now you've got 2 commando squads, you've got 2 ARC Trooper medic squads, you've got 3 naked infantry squads, and then Clone Captain Rex to be able to give scouting party to Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Bad Batch. That way Obi-Wan can scout on, and then he can, take a dodge, giving him 2 dodges, and then, move up one more time to get into a great position. Rex is there to provide improvised orders as well as an aim, and 2 aims and a dodge round 1, I would suppose. And then the Bad Batch is probably going to be doing the Bad Batch thing round 1. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi in the next round is probably in an even better position to Guardian and or Force Barrier the Bad Batch, because now that he scouted, moved, and dodged, you've just done basically your 2 normal moves, but you got an extra 2 dodges out of it. And then next turn, you can give Trusted Agent to the Bad Batch if you had to. And then your ARC Troopers and Clone Commandos, especially Delta Squad, could be doing what they need to do. And holding another, again, side point. They're great at probably holding the wings to your objectives, while the ARC Troopers probably go in with the Bad Batch. And, you've got Obi-Wan trying to keep them all covered. And then the Bad Batch is doing Bad Batch things. They're going to be deleting a unit here and there and rushing through, getting some really good shots off. So, really a good one, especially Captain Rex's 2-pip. where you can give the Bad Batch an order from Trusted Agent, and then maybe give Rex an order, or you give your clone commandos an order, Delta Squad and the other one, or maybe what you could do is, let's see. Yeah, no, you give Bad Batch an order with the Trusted Agent, and then you give maybe the Delta Squad. No, because they're probably moving and whatnot. Maybe the Clone Commandos here, or at least the 2 ARC Troopers. Yeah, but they're wanting to be moving. It doesn't matter. Well, because you could take an aim with ARC Troopers, and then now you're rolling the 10 black dice at range 3 with Sharpshooter 1. Which is really, really great. Your Clone Commandos, your Delta Squad could get the order, and then now they can shoot their suppressive at range 3 if they wanted to. And then Bad Batch can take an aim, move, gain another aim, and then take a shot at range 3. So what you do is, what I've done before is use the Bad Batch 3-pip, scout, move, you take your shot. Next turn you play the 2-pip, you take an aim, you move backwards with the Bad Batch, and then you take a range 3 shot at what you just took a range 2 shot at before, and then finish them off, or finish off the second unit that was around there. And now they're even closer to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which can again force barrier and then Guardian. And then now they've probably tried moving up to chase the Bad Batch, and now your ARC Troopers can take an aim and shoot at range 3 if they needed to. Again, 10 black dice at range 3 with Sharpshooter 1 is no joke. And then your Clone Commandos can shoot a suppressive gun at range 3. So lots of fun things to do with Rex. It's just depending on how you want to use him, and a lot of just fun things to do with Delta Squad. Again, giving them an order gets them two aims, and then you still have mission objective. So you just move, and then you shoot your blaster, your DC-17, and then you've got 2 aims, and so you didn't have to use offensive push or anything like that. And mission objective's already back, so now you can make sure to get at least all 8 to hit. So, yeah, absolutely love Delta Squad a lot, and Clone Commandos are just so fun. I really enjoy playing them, and they offer quite a bit. So those are a few different list ideas with the Clone Commandos. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the videos and to the channel. It really helps me out a lot, and I'm going to be trying to get rid of Patreon and do memberships, and then give you guys some extra videos off the side, specifically some things that are things that you request. I'll talk to members, and instead of the Patreon on Discord, I'll basically do something for you guys on the Discord where you can ask questions, and I'll make a video for you guys. You can request videos, but yeah, head on over to the Discord. I forgot to do this first, but hopefully there's still people who are watching. Head over to the Discord and check it out. This is where you can have people who will submit ideas with their lists and say, my first guard list, how is it? So Arendis is doing really cool. He is learning a lot, it seems. Shadow Collective is a lot of fun, just kind of posting different Shadow Collective lists and kind of seeing what people are interested in, Empire lists. Hopefully we'll be able to get some sort of like Imperial Remnant stuff going on. And so, yeah, seems to be very, very active. If you need list help for new players, you can still post it in the specific, chat. But if you guys just needed something specific, then feel free to post it in there. And yeah, thanks to Ryan, we've got the new custom commanders already in TTS. We're just waiting for the cards to be revealed, and we're also waiting for the CIS and the GAR minis to be photo scanned. They're next in line. So yeah, kudos to Ryan for all of that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Head on over to the Patreon as well, and you'll be able to kind of support the channel and get videos early. So thanks a lot, guys, for doing all that you do. And yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.